welcome to the Techgrindr podcast, where we are breaking new ground and pushing past the status quo when it comes to the startup ecosystem. But before we get started, the podcast has been created for entertainment and educational purposes only, and nothing in the content should be taken as investment advice. To see the full disclaimer, go to www.techgrindr.com. That's www.techgrindr.com. So let's get started, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Okay, so let's get into it. A lot of us study and build our knowledge base in many different manners. Some of us go to traditional universities and colleges, and some of us study in an entrepreneurial manner. Studying and learning can be extremely exciting, but nobody will dispute that it is very time-consuming. And the reality is a lot of us are working harder and harder to make sure we can flex our smart muscles when we go out into the world to do our thing. Technology has enabled us. When we go to find work, we can send a resume, cover letter, presentation, or pitch deck at lightning speed. But the reality of that equation is that a lot of people can be doing the same thing, and individuals or companies who are on the receiving end of this digital communication could be experiencing a wide range of issues. They could be inundated. They could be understaffed. In some situations, they could even be lazy. And in other situations, they could be running like a well-oiled machine. But at this point, it is pretty safe to say that when we go out into the world to do our thing, like find a job or build a startup or business, the likelihood is pretty high that we are going to be sitting and waiting for someone to do a phone interview or video chat interview. Of course, we are all going to be trying to do our best in those interviews, but in our growing hyperspeed world, these interviews will most likely be short in nature, and most of us will be trying to shine bright in a 15, 30, or 60-minute interview. If we take a step back and take a breath, it brings to mind that communication skills are powerful. When it comes to stories about interviews, the most common stories are probably pretty simple. Some folks saying they underprepared, some folks saying they overprepared, some folks thinking they nailed it, and some folks thinking they probably blew it. Obviously, there are happy experiences for people, maybe non-emotional experiences for some, and heartbreaking experiences for others. But the one common denominator in all of this is these interviews are pretty short. And we are all trying to share our knowledge, experience, and who we are in a short period of time. Now, with that said, the question is, when it comes to the interview process and the fact that we have established it is short, do you think the possibility for error is high? And the next question is error in the interview process more likely than getting it right for all parties? As our society continues to advance technologically, it would seem logical to say that the pace of the world will increase. In other words, it doesn't look like the world is going to slow down anytime soon. So where is the interview and pitching process headed in the 21st century? How about we start here? Have you ever heard of one-way video interviews? Or maybe you'd like to use this term, asynchronous. Well, to simplify it, it basically means that you're going to be doing a video interview by yourself with a computer asking you some questions. It would again seem logical that there is probably mixed reviews in relation to one-way video interviews. But the thing this all shows for sure is that companies are beginning to automate their hiring processes more and more. And it is logical that this type of automation will continue. But when it comes to individuals who are interviewing or pitching, it begs us to ask the question, are we living in an elevator pitch world? Are massive amounts of people's fates going to be sealed or crushed basically by how they deliver an elevator pitch? Our take on this? We basically think this is heartbreaking. Great pieces of art and music were created by trial and error. Great companies and products are created by grit, hard work, and trial and error as well. One thing that we stated at Techgrindr.com right off the bat was that we weren't going to sugarcoat stuff. As we head further in the 21st century, there are going to be many challenges facing individuals as they try to make their way in the world. Our vision at Techgrindr.com is to leave folks with a sense that they are being informed, so hopefully they can go out on their job search or tech journey feeling invigorated and confident, knowing that they are informed about some of the obstacles that they could face on their journey. This will hopefully enable people to walk through life a bit more lightly and maybe also be more innovative and productive. We are definitely concerned about where the world is headed, but we approach it with a glass half full mindset, empathy, and a whole lot of grit. We think that there are amazing possibilities that could unfold in the 21st century, and we feel fortunate to bring you the Techgrindr podcast. We hope you like this episode, Are We Living in an Elevator Pitch World? Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Techgrindr podcast. If you'd like to continue the conversation, you can find us on Twitter, and as we evolve, also on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time.